Welcome to MD Quickfire Podcast with Matt and Emily.
Hello, my name is Neil Miller and I am the sales director for QIC Trims, and we sell trims, partitioning products and sheet metal bespoke sections.
And where is QIC based?
We are based in Buckingham, just outside of Milton Keynes.
I was going to say, because your accent's not from around here, is it?
No.
So have you travelled up today or have you travelled up last night?
Travelled up last night and travelling back today.
And where did you stay last night?
At the Leonardo Hotel.
Is that in Chester?
Yeah, it was in Chester. So I walked past the Roman amphitheatre on the way. Yeah.
Did you go out and end up getting out in the town centre?
Into the pub, yes.
Oh, nice.
The Leopard, which was interesting. Yeah.
Few sherbets.
Few sherbets.
Yeah.
And there was football on and people in there, and it was fine. Yeah, it was absolutely lovely.
So QIC, what does QIC stand for?
It did stand for Quality Interior Components, which is a bit of a mouthful. So yeah, I think the abbreviating that to QIC has made sense. But yeah, when the business started in the late 90s, there it was just trims and a very sort of narrow group of products, really, to be fair. And then over time, that's grown, and yeah, we came into the business in 2013.
So, for the purpose of the listeners, can you explain a little bit more what trims are and who would need to use them?
Absolutely, good question.
That's a great question.
It's excellent. And quite I want to know. I like that. So aluminium trims, in the main, they're extruded aluminium sections, whereby a process of heating up a large billet of aluminium and is effectively pushed through a die. And that die has the shape of the trim, and then that forms the trim. So they're generally 3 meters long and used within the dry lining world and suspended ceilings. They're powder coated white as standard, but we can paint them any colour. And it's actually quite good to see in these more recent years where more colour is coming into the workplace and these fit out projects, which is interesting.
So within the company, how many different job roles are there?
Wowzers. So we yeah.
That's another cracker.
The extruding of the product itself is done. We outsource that, so we don't do that. So
when you say extruding.
Extruded.
Extruded. That's what's the word of the day. That extruded.
Extruded.
Do you know what that means?
I've never heard it before, though.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Wow.
Extruded.
Yeah, it's all the rage.
That's the word of the day. That week. What does extruded mean now?
It's just sort of effectively where you're sort of forcing aluminium through this die. So you're extruding it through the die to form these products. So yeah, that's what. So yeah, sorry, I say it quite a lot. I should. Yeah.
You should, because now we know what extruded means.
Extruded. Yes.
For the listeners, when we say that word, we're moving our hands from our mouth outwards, going extrude.
There you go. It's a nice word.
Like proving, like it's like croissants going through a machine and rising. Is it?
Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, but I don't.
We'll go with it.
Yeah, let's go.
Nothing like it at all.
It's very similar.
Right.
Yes. We sell croissants. So extruded products. So they're generally 3 meters long and they're quite tiny in section. They're quite small products, but they can be used quite extensively on a project to give a really nice finish. Sorry, your question, Emily. Coming back to the number of processes or jobs, there's many. So we outsource the actual extruding of the product.
Drum roll, please.
And that's done in Poland, in Turkey. It's done in many places actually around the world. We are striving to use more UK mills, and that's something we want to work on and are continuing to work on at the minute, to have a more closer source of material. And we're a UK business, so we'd much rather use UK mills if we could.
So are there many UK mills?
There are some, not a huge amount, but there are some for sure. But due to I think the sourcing of the raw material, as in the aluminium, a lot of it coming from sort of Baltic states and Russian sort of parts of the world, that has obviously proved difficult for obvious reasons. So one of the largest mills we work with is in Poland. But there are UK mills, and they are becoming more cost effective to work with, so we certainly would prefer to work with them as much as possible.
Would it, thinking strategically, would it be a conversation to maybe acquire a mill and you can have it all in-house.
100%. I mean, the thing we do as a business as QIC, one of the other things we do is we actually have a group of companies, other companies there. So there's not to say we couldn't look at the right opportunity. For sure, it would make perfect sense. And for many reasons, but nothing more so than getting the material from the same country just makes perfect sense.
The customer base then for you, who would be an ideal client? So you've obviously you fit out contractors and anybody else.
Yeah, so we supply fit out contractors and we supply through distribution as well. Sometimes end users. We are a relatively small business, so our reach into customers can only sort of go so far. So the distribution outlets give us a great opportunity to get our products further into the market. Yeah.
Anybody looking to get hold of yourself or QIC as a whole to become a customer, how would they do that?
They can do that through our website. So we have www.qic-trims.com. Go onto the website, all of our contact details are on there, mobile numbers, emails for the sales team or any of us, and just drop me a line directly, yeah.
Okay, so you've been in sales, you're a sales director.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that for?
Sales director, I've been now for, I think, 4 or 5 years.
Anybody, any listener that's looking to embark on a sales journey, what is the most rewarding thing about your job?
It's funny, at my ripe old age that I am,
You've mentioned that a few times now, Neil, and you're looking very handsome.
I know, I'm just looking
look your age.
You to say more things like that, that's all it is.
Fishing for compliments.
Yeah, so that's exactly. Thank you. I was fishing for always. Listen, I still enjoy winning business. It's just somewhat bonkers, but no, I enjoy the fact that we can win an order, win business that brings in revenue for the company, keeps everybody busy, and I love that.
So the challenge, a
little bit of the challenge,
the chase.
But the thing I'm sort of enjoying now at my stage in career is that winning business with customers that I've had long relationships with and good relationships with these people, and that I just find super rewarding, and I absolutely love that. It's I think, as we were talking about earlier, business has changed a lot over the last 20 years, of course, and now a lot of things are done through collaboration, through partnership.
Emily's got her hand up here, she's dying to ask a question.
Amazing.
Dying to get out before she forgets.
I can't get a word in it.
It's a bromance.
I was going to ask.
Sorry, Emily.
So
Are you still here? Right.
So if someone's already in a sales role, what tips and advice would you give them to progress into a sales director's role?
Tell you what, your questions today have been
Googling questions, haven't you? It's a very good question. Honestly, you've got to stick at it, for starters. The thing I would say, though, for anybody in sales, and you want to progress in any business or organisation, is just be a good listener. Be a good listener. Back in the day, when I started doing sales 100 years ago, it was all about the cliches of the gift of the gab, and you've got to talk fast and all this, and it's absolutely not that at all. Because if I'm talking, I can't listen, as I still say to my children. So be a good listener. Understand. Be able to read the room. But it's to learn the art of being able to communicate with a wide range of people.
Are there any books that you've read in your career that have helped with your sales?
I did read, I'm trying to think of the name, sorry, forgive me. The sales course I did back in the day, I will let you know that it's a famous American guy that did this training. I will let you know, because he was sort of quite well renowned. So I did read some of that stuff in the early days. More recently, Simon Sinek. So a lot of his stuff I've been reading as well, which is interesting.
Because what helped me is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's it, Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie. Yeah. That's there. Yeah, I saw that in an airport not so long ago.
Bravo.
She's good. She's good.
It's the best.
I don't know how well it's done over time, but I think it gives you a really good, like with anything when you read or any training course you go on, you might not love everything, but it's picking those bits because you're like, that'll work for me and I can get that. Yeah.
So,
But
my question would be, what is a standout moment from that book for you then, Emily, that you can take away?
So the title says How to Win Friends and Influence People, but when you read it, it's actually a lot more in depth, and the way it's written has got loads of practical information you can put to use. So how to communicate with people effectively, how to build rapport. So when you're eye contact, when you're speaking to people, using people's names.
Bring in loads and lots of packets of biscuits.
Yeah.
Neil's brought about 15 packets of biscuits. And what was your one standout moment from that book that you can take away after reading it?
For me, with the recent book I read was from Simon, was the understanding why you're doing what you're doing.
Why
Why are you doing it? You know, and that for me has been really good recently to sort of, really look at the business and how we're operating. Why are we doing this? Does everybody working for us understand why we're doing it? And and early on, no, I don't think they did. So it's communicating that to your staff as well. So when you have that customer interaction, it can be with somebody in the sales office at Buckingham, it could be one of the external sales guys, but you're going to get a very similar reaction, which is that you're going to be listened to, you're going to be understood, and someone's going to come back to you. And for me, a lot of that now with sales, thankfully, is that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think Emily's got one more question.
Yep, so for your random question, when was the last time you cried?
This morning. It was
when it saw me.
Thought of coming in.
It would have been, do you know what I'm trying to think now, because I can be a bit of a crier, but I think the last time I cried was at a film, and it was the Queen biopic. I can remember it now, and I think because
emotional.
I can remember it. Yeah, the end of the film and the Live Aid and stuff, and he was Freddie Mercury was obviously coming to the end of his life. That really got me the film because I can remember it. Yeah, very well. But yeah, it's great.
When was the last time you cried?
I just recently cried actually, and I never cry because I've got a heart of stone. I'm like the Tin Man off Oz with no heart. If they only had a heart. So we watched Amy Winehouse, me and Tyler and his son.
Yeah. Is it good?
Oh jeez, God! So when the nan passed away, my son was crying because he was thinking about his nan, and it made me well up, and I started crying, and I was like, "Oh my God!" like a blubbering wreck. So literally 2 days ago. It's interesting. Yeah. What about yourself? When was the last time you cried?
I don't know. I'm not a big crier. I nearly cried yesterday because I was cooking, and the oil came out the pan and got me in the eye, so I nearly cried, but I didn't actually cry. I just nearly cried because it was so sore and I thought I was going to go blind. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose my sight, but then I realised I could see and it was okay. I didn't need to cry.
You've cried with laughter though, haven't you?
Yeah.
On numerous occasions.
Yes. Yeah.
Carrying on.
Happy tears.
Happy tears.
That is fantastic, and that's the great thing, isn't it? That if you can, we all need to laugh a lot. I think it just helps.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've all laughed quite a lot. Laughing, crying, I would imagine so, more than we did when we were sad. But straight away, when you asked that question, we all sort of thought of sad things. Wow, but you don't have to be sad. It could be. When did you cry of laughter?
Yeah.
It's the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Miller and the Biscuits.
Thank you for having me.
250-mile trip to come and see us.
Yes, thank you so much, Neil.
No problem at all.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
You've been listening to MD Quickfire Podcast. To sponsor our show or appear as a guest, visit us at mdfitout.co.uk.